Hey everyone, welcome back to TheTopher Drives, where tonight we're going for a bit of an evening cruise in the 2023 Mazda MX-5 Miata. This is an all-new color for the 23 model year, Zircon Sand, which you all may recognize from the CX-50 that was launched last year. I think actually the CX-50 that we drove was this color, so quite a familiar sight. But this is the first time I've seen it on a Miata, and it's a good reason that our 2023 Miata is this color, because this is the only change that they've made for 2023. But that's okay, because I love the ND2 Miata. I think it is one of the best little performance cars on sale today, and I'm excited to just take it out in a nice little chill night, sort of evening sunset drive tonight. I've been driving this thing all week. We're going to talk about what it's been like to live with, and also we're just going to kind of relax and drive, if you haven't already kind of gathered that theme. So let's talk about a couple things, a couple basics of the Miata. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know about the Miata. This thing's been around for like 10 years in ND form, but under the hood for the ND2, we have a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. It makes 181 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque, up pretty high at 7,000 RPM. In this car, that is mated to a manual transmission. We also have a limited slip differential, and while that may not sound like a lot, that isn't the point of a Miata. The point is to just be able to go out, drop the top, and have a blissful evening, which is what we're going to try to accomplish tonight. Let's take a look at some of the amenities. We'll start with the trunk, which has a little hidden release on the bumper, which is kind of neat, or you can pop it from the key or a switch inside the cabin, but you do get a little bit of room here in the trunk of the Miata. I don't know what this is, actually. I haven't looked. It's probably a tire inflator. Yep, it is. Okay. Oh, and how difficult is this going to be to put back, do we think? Should I not have taken it out in the first place? Oh, it's not so bad. There we go. Okay, so there's the trunk. Let's take a look at that 2-liter. And then we're just going to get right out onto the road and go for a bit of an evening drive. I don't have any like road trips or any places to go, so it's just going to be kind of a regular drive today in the Miata, but that's okay. There's our 2-liter, and it looks fabulous. There's no engine cover or anything weird. It's just an honest, properly mounted 4-cylinder. And there's quite a bit of room in here if you'd like to up the ante a little bit. But you'll have to do that because Mazda will only give you this engine. That's shut, I think. Cool. Yeah, this color's a bit controversial on the Miata, but I was excited when I saw this come around the corner earlier this week. It's really grown on me, and I think it looks great. It kind of sets this thing aside just a little bit, and it spices up the ND formula just that much more. I think this would look excellent with some bronze wheels. Maybe like lowered bronze wheels, cork sport exhaust. See, I'm already planning for when I buy one. This one's about 33 grand. We'll hop in and take a look at the Monroney here. One of my favorite things about NDs is that the body color is continued in onto the door panels. And I think if I had this car, I would wrap these in PPF, because you know that they're just going to get dinged up with people getting in and out with rings on, I guess. Well, if you're not married, you don't have to worry about that. But if you do have lots of jewelry, something to think about. Sorry, I misspoke. This one is $34,500. What do we have on here for optional equipment? The Zircon Sand paint is a $395 option. But otherwise, everything comes standard on this GT package car, which gets you leather seats, those wheels that you saw, as well as a Bose 9-speaker audio system with headrest mounted speakers. They've been doing that since the NA generation. I think that's just excellent. So put this back in our glove box that's mounted. It's more of like a shoulder box, except you can still put gloves in it. Okay, I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's just start the car up. There we go. So not a ton of things in here, and I really like that. This car is just simple still. They haven't gone over the top with anything. You've got 3 knobs here for your climate control. You've got heated seat buttons down here and USB ports for your phone. And that's it. Oh, and you've got your little command control, because this is not a touchscreen, even though it looks like one and it's in reaching distance. You've got your little command control knob, I think is what Mazda calls it, and your volume knob. Otherwise though, simple interior. I've got a manual gearbox, and I'm going to equip the iconic Topher Tedward earmuffs before we get on the road today because it may get a little bit blustery, and I want you guys to be able to hear what I'm on about. I don't know how much talking I'm going to do on today's drive. We'll give the Miata a review, but also I really just want to go for a drive and enjoy it. To me, this is what Miatas are all about. Just being able to go out at night, go for a drive, and enjoy yourself with the roof down. And it's a simple enough car to where you're not worried about it. You can just go out and enjoy. Take a look at the sky. It was raining all day today, so I honestly wasn't even planning on filming a video on this car, but I'm like, well, it's a beautiful night. I've got a Miata. Might as well just do it. So here we are, and you're all riding along with me, enjoying the fun. If you're wondering why the passenger seat belt is buckled, it's because if you set anything, well, I don't have anything on it right now, but if you set anything on the passenger seat while you're going, it thinks a person is there. I don't know. I had my phone sitting there earlier and it thought it was a person, so I just left that buckled so it doesn't chime at me. It's just a silly little thing. But I just love this car. It's good that I've finally been able to spend some time in a Miata, because I owned an NA Miata, but that's kind of the only experience I have with them. I've never driven an NB, I've never driven an NC, and the only two NDs I've ever driven, I didn't really spend a lot of time in. So it was cool to spend the week with this car, really get to know it, get comfortable with it, and I get it now. I get why people love this car, and I get why Mazda has kept it the same for so long. Partially because, you know, the NE isn't going to be as good. I'm sorry, I sound like a boomer purist, but this is probably going to end up being peak Miata, and well, get them while they're hot. Get one while you can. Plenty of power. I mean, honestly, this thing is pretty quick. Even with only 180 horsepower, it doesn't weigh anything, so you can go through the gears, and it's just such a fun little experience here, because you can drive this car and drive it to the ragged edge and not be breaking any laws, probably. So it's really just a blast. Plus, it's easy to drive, it's easy to rev match your gears. It's just really a treat. Can also easily turn traction control off with this button to the left of the steering wheel. And fail to go sideways because we are on some sticky Bridgestone Potenzas today that have a pretty good amount of grip. I've been impressed with these tires this week. They're a little bit noisy, but I mean, that's kind of the trade-off with having a good amount of grip, so no real complaints with the tires. Oh, and the other light down here, if you can't make that out, I have lane keep assist off because it's very irritating. In fact, when the TheTopher drove this car for 2 days, it came back with that turned off. I didn't know how to turn it off, but he took care of it for me. So, no more irritating lane keep assist. So I've put a ton of miles on this car this week, and a lot of them consisted of last night. My cousin Anne-Marie was in town, and I drove her. She was at a wedding in Ann Arbor, and I drove her all the way back to Rochester Hills, and it was like a 2-hour round trip commute. It was pitch black out, or else I would have filmed it, because I know you all like my commute/road trips. But this thing did great. I wasn't even fatigued after 2 hours. I mean, it was fabulous. The road manners of this car, it's so easy to drive, it's nimble, it's little, it doesn't tram line, it's just great. It's a really easy car to live with, and even the size of it isn't annoying. For instance, we had a GR86 a few weeks ago, and every single time I got in it, I smashed my shin on a piece of the dashboard that sticks out way too far. Even to the point where I was wearing shorts, rare moment, I was wearing shorts last week, and my girlfriend Emily was like, "Why is your shin so bruised?" And I was like, "Oh, I was driving a GR86 last week." So to that point, whereas with the Miata, ergonomically, it's great. There's nothing in here that you run into. This whole setup with the console works out pretty well. I'm not running my elbow or arm into a cup holder because they're detachable and you can move them around the cabin. This one has been living down in the passenger footwell, but you can also put them back behind your elbow if you so wish. But they're far back enough to where you don't hit them, so that's nice. We're gonna give this Hyundai some distance. I was hoping to have a bit of an open road today, that's why I waited till late. But not as such. That's okay. Other people exist too. Have to remind ourselves that. Alright, let's take this corner. Rotates beautifully, feels great, but I don't have to tell you that. It's a Miata. You already know that it's going to drive wonderfully. The steering, fantastic. I just love this car. I mean, really, I finally understand why people love the ND so much. And this little bit of Zircon Sand. Very good. It was very nice of that Hyundai to teleport behind me there. He just despawned for a second, let me go through him, so that was good. Great passing power, allegedly. Really just the ultimate little package. I'm excited to hit these couple little twisties up here. Even at 4/10, it's still fun. Because again, you don't have to be absolutely hauling out of your mind to have fun in a Miata. And that's just what's so charming about it. Let's go ahead and slow down and we'll do a bit of an acceleration. I love this shifter too. TheTopher and I always say that the NA Miata has the best shifter, and no one's really replicated that special weighted throw that the NA Miata has with its stock shift knob and stock configuration, but the shifter in this car is quite nice as well. It feels pretty similar, honestly. And generally you can shift it pretty fast without it complaining. Look at that sky. That's what it's all about. It's the reason I bought my original NA. I was a sad boy in college. And I figured a Miata is exactly what I needed to cheer myself up, and you know what? It kind of worked. That was a great little car. Oh. This car really is a treat. It's really suited for a back road like this. Maybe one with a few more twists and turns. This one's kind of long and fast, but really in any setting. I mean, you don't have to have it on a back road to enjoy it. I drove this thing around town a lot this week. It was fantastic. On the highway, it was fantastic. No complaints whatsoever with the drivability of this Miata. When Mazda set out to make a usable British-style roadster in the late 80s, I mean, who knew that it would be such an icon for so long and carry that tradition? Oh, so much grip. That Potenza is sticky. Another thing worth considering is other people really like Miatas. So if you're someone that likes to go out on spirited drives with a passenger, perfect option for a couple of reasons. For one, I mean, all that sky, obviously, but the Bose also is quite appealing. You guys can listen to some music and it sounds quite nice with the headrest speakers, and you generally don't have to worry about breaking down because Miatas are quite reliable. So you can go out, know you're going to make it back, have a good time listening to the sound system, and just this is what summer is all about to me, going out and doing this sort of thing. I mean, look at that sky, look at this sky. Yeah, this is the sort of thing that I do when I just need to go and not be sitting stationary. There's nothing more relaxing than doing this. This is in effort to not steal Tedward's thing, drive therapy. I mean, that's just it, and the Miata is such a good partner to have for that. Brake feels exactly what you want. I always used to mock Charlie from Daily Motor for always saying that he would just choose a Miata over everything, or always suggesting a Miata when car conversations came up, and I think now I would do the same. I get it. I'm in the same boat. I've had such a good week with this little car, and there's nothing else that I would have rather driven this week. There's nothing else that would have put this big of a smile on my face, and I'm just so happy to have been able to finally spend some time in an ND. It only took 10 years. but here we are, wrapping up our voyage today. Wonder what the record is for this little sign here. I usually go under the speed limit in this town. If you know, you know. Well, the gear shift indicator says I should be in 5th. Okay, let's drive along at 1,000 RPM. That's what you would like, Mazda. All right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us today. Just a little drive, nothing special, but I wanted to at least go out and take you guys for a little rip in this Miata. And, well, I hope you enjoyed. And leave any suggestions that you have for me, other sorts of videos you want to see. Obviously, I know road trips, commutes, those sort of things. I really enjoy doing those. But also just little back road drives like we've been doing are pretty fun too. So regardless, thank you all for sticking with me. And yeah, that was fun. Oh, we're losing the earmuffs. So you can all probably hear me a bit better now. Okay. Cool, guys. Well, again, that'll wrap it up. What do you think of Zircon Sand? Would you pick this color for your Miata? Comment, let me know. I'd probably either have this or I would have Soul Red. Mazda does some good colors. Cool. Well, thank you all again so much, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Hey guys, welcome back to Topher Drives. Tonight, we've got a Miata. It's beautiful out. We're gonna go for a drive. It just seems awkward. Okay, we're just gonna start with the top down because that's like, it was the most awkward thing ever. I want to put this in at the end of the video so you can all see how awkward my first intro was.